I'm going to try to make this short. We both know how that goes. Or wait, we all know how that goes. 3 a.m. thoughts. Weird dreams last night. I'll spare you some of the details, but Thor and Loki were there from TV. Okay, so that was part of it. Let's see. I was in Hollywood. Robin Williams was at the bar. He was just talking. He wasn't drinking. He was just talking to the bartender. Loki offered to buy me a drink, and I'm like, look, I know what you're about. Shh, you know, yes, I dissed Loki like that would happen. I would totally grab him by the horns and wrangle him to the ground. Anyway, that's irrelevant. So, me and Thor hung out. Alright. And I got a little tiny hammer. He gave me a keychain with a little tiny Thor hammer. Like, who dreams stuff like that?
You keep these things
Right.
on you.
Right. Like, who has a pocket full of tiny keychain hammers that they're just like, here, don't forget me? And I'm like, how could I? You're Thor. Also, at some point, I was driving a car and speeding for some reason and nearly hit a freaking casket. People, the pallbearers, were walking, and all of a sudden I looked up and I banked to the left and blew out my tire. The whole thing, rim and all. So I got out and picked up the car and took what was left of it off and grabbed a tire from one of the vehicles that would fit my car and put it on and left. Okay? There was a possessed little girl in my dream, and I slapped her. And and then she's like, answer the phone. I'm like, okay. Phone rings. I pick it up. It's the devil. And he's like, hey, how have you been? I'm like, good. You? And he's like, oh, you know, hell, whatever. And I'm like, are you at a telemarketing company? Because I could hear him in the back. And he's like, yes, I am. And I'm like, what are you doing at a telemarketing company? And he was like, well, statistically, of the things that humans hate, telemarketers is the first top, like the top thing that humans hate is telemarketers. And I'm like, oh, you evil genius. And he's like, oh, stop flattering me. And I'm like, sorry. Really? And what was the last part of it? I can't even remember, is the weirdness of it.